If we turn our backs and spit in his face, is God still gonna bless the USA?
Years ago, the fiery tennis champion John McEnroe once said, "My greatest strength is that I have no weaknesses." If you ever watched him play, you might smile at the irony because his biggest weakness was his belief that he had none. His talent was remarkable, but his temper revealed a more profound truth. Even the best among us is broken in ways we'd rather hide. When the Apostle Paul wrestled with his own weakness, he brought it before God. Here's how the Lord answered him in 2 Corinthians 12, verses 9 and 10. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, most gladly, I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For when I am weak, then I am strong. It's not always bad to have a broken heart. In fact, Scripture honors it. Psalm 34, verse 18 reads, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." Psalm 51, verse 17, "The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. These, O God, you will not despise." Greeting, Patriots. I'm Perry Green, and this is God in America, where faith and freedom connect. I'll be honest with you, when I began preparing this episode, I was working through a personal spiritual struggle. And maybe that's why the idea of brokenness hit home with me. Sometimes God teaches us not from our victories, but from our vulnerabilities. The Bible is full of paradoxes that flip the world's logic upside down. To save my life, I must lose it. To be elevated, I must be humble. To be first, I must be last. To be strong, I must be weak. The truth is, we're all broken, but we don't have to be beaten. God uses that brokenness to shape us into his image. Our world is a hard place to live, and it grows more difficult every day. If we don't rely on God, the world will beat us down rather than break us open for his purposes. As Thanksgiving approaches, the pilgrims remind us what godly brokenness looks like. They endured persecution, storms, and starvation. Yet through every hardship, they clung to faith. Their suffering did not beat them. They were broken before God, and through that breaking came blessing. Out of their humility, a nation was born. There's a difference between being broken and being beaten. Brokenness opens us to God's strength. Beatenness leaves us empty and hopeless. When broken, I say, I care. When beaten, I say, I don't care. When broken, I say, I can't, but God can. When beaten, I just say, I can't. When broken, I think God can use my pain to help others. When beaten, I only think someone help me. Throughout Scripture, broken things become powerful tools in God's hands. Gideon's soldiers broke their pitchers and light shone out into the darkness to intimidate their enemies. A woman broke her alabaster jar to pour out worship on Jesus. Jesus broke the loaves and fed thousands with more left over than they began with. And most importantly, Christ's own body was broken, not defeated, bringing salvation to the world. In every case, what was broken became a blessing. You and your vulnerabilities are God's asset. You are perfected in your weaknesses and experience the sufficiency of God's grace. America has had its share of brokenness too. The early colonies were born out of spiritual struggle. Religious persecution in Europe drove men and women to risk everything for freedom of conscience. The Puritans, Pilgrims, and Huguenots all believed that liberty was not man's invention, but God's gift. Later, through the fires of the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and even the Civil Rights Movement, God has often allowed our nation to be broken, to humble us, to teach us, and to turn us back to him. We can learn from those who came before us. When George Washington led his freezing, starving troops through Valley Forge, he knelt in prayer. Brokenness became the soil for faith, and faith became the seed for freedom. Today, our nation is fractured again, morally, politically, and spiritually. But as individuals and as people, our hope is the same as it has always been, not in our strength, but in God's grace. If you're broken, you're not alone. Maybe, just maybe, God is preparing you for something greater. A broken heart surrendered to God can become the vessel he uses to heal a family, a church, or even a nation. As Psalm 147, verse 3 reminds us, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. America's healing starts the same place as yours does, on your knees before a loving God. So let's be the people who are broken before God, not beaten by the world. Well, thank you for joining me today on God in America. If this message encouraged you, please like, share, and subscribe, and visit godinamerica.com to support our ministry. That's the word God, the letter N, America.com. Until next time, let's keep the light of faith for a better America burning.